at 11 apiece. 14:56 remaining in the first half. James Brown along with Billy Packer and Pat O'Brien. And Billy, you've been commenting all throughout the early action here that these are two tournament teams without a doubt.
James, I think at this early in the season, and we talked about early on the fact that Vegas is making an adjustment, having with David Butler coming back into the lineup, but they practice hard. They've been together now about 10 days with this particular lineup, and they are really coming on strong. In regard to Arkansas, this is a club blessed with a lot of outstanding young players. They shoot extremely well. They're handling the ball well. They're tough to press because of Mayberry, and without question, these two teams are going to be in the major part of the hunt for this year's college basketball championship.
The action has been fast-paced as you take a look at Lee Mayberry at the free throw line for the Razorbacks. Ron Hury, number 31, into the ball game for the Razorbacks, having replaced Oliver Miller, number 25, the 6'9" center, who picked up his second personal foul. And it's going to be important that the Razorbacks do the job inside against a very powerful front line of the running Rebels.
That's a big loss with Miller out of there because his bulk took up so much room. It made it tough for Larry Johnson inside. Expect Johnson to touch the ball a little more now.
Rebound, David Butler, the center. And he's fouled by Todd Day. Let me set the lineup for you for the running Rebels. David Butler, number 00 at center, flanked by Larry Johnson and Stacey Augmon. Anderson Hunt and Greg Anthony are at the guards. Jerry Tarkanian, in his 17th year here at UNLV, has a squad that struggled through the first 6 games, and that was principally because of 2 key players being out.
Well, David Butler is one of the premier centers in the United States. He, of course, was not eligible to play for the last 2 ball games. And so now Jerry goes from having weakness in the center position to having an outstanding player there. Allows everybody to shift over to their natural position, particularly Stacey Augmon and Larry Johnson, so they become a much more potent team.
Lee Mayberry, Todd Day, the backcourt for Arkansas. Mario Credit, Ron Hury, and Lindsey Howell for the Razorbacks. Rebounded by Larry Johnson.
One of the few guys that can rebound it with a good outlet pass or dribble it down court. Really a flexible ball player.
Lindsey Howell steals that one. He's been doing a great job of alertness, being alert, as Lee Mayberry called for walking, and he was a little concerned that Anderson Hunt didn't give him the 1 step.
Well, he doesn't have to because he's got the ball in his hand as a dribbler, but that will be charged as a turnover to Mayberry, but really it was a turnover by Lindsey Howell for throwing him the ball in the first place. Howell should have anticipated the defender coming up there, and he acknowledged that by patting his chest and looking at Mayberry. See how they really miss Miller inside. They miss his ball.
And Larry Johnson gets the tip in as David Butler and Larry Johnson played volleyball. And again, as you mentioned, Billy, with Oliver Miller at 6'9", 270 out of there, that hurts. Hury with
left
the shot.
hand. Out last year because of some personal difficulties. Coming back slowly now, but he'll be a factor for this club. Very talented kid. You can see Johnson just taking over inside now.
And Larry Johnson at 6'7", 250 pounds, a man amongst boys, doing it on the inside.
Well, here's what Nolan Richardson was really worried about, trying to pack things in to stop Johnson. You can see without Miller's bulk in there, Johnson just goes right inside. It's unusual to have fellas of this power, and you think of probably the #1 guy like this would be a guy like Charles Barkley, that have great power and bulk, but then also have soft hands and touch. Johnson possesses that inside and is tough to handle there.
Johnson doesn't get the roll as Travis Bice and Barry Young, guard and a forward combination, checking in for the running Rebels.
Good move by Hury, coming off of that bench and becoming an offensive factor right away.
And Hury draws the foul from Barry Young. His first personal foul, 15 foul.
Credit's going to sit down, James, and Marks coming in for Credit makes Arkansas even smaller. You might see them try to press a lot more with this lineup in there because they're not going to be able to take it down inside.
Arkansas's hands were going to be full anyway with Larry Johnson. In the middle is going to be a little tougher now. Mayberry awfully quick and lethal.
Not only quick, but he's being guarded that time by Greg Anthony, who's one of the best one-on-one defenders against the dribble in the country, and he's still beating.
Johnson blocked by Ron Hury. They're going to say he got a piece of his hand. But the key is that UNLV continuing to go inside and take advantage of the bigger and stronger Larry Johnson.
Well, Nolan Richardson likes to play the 1-1-3 zone, which shifts down into a 2-3 type zone. He may really have to pack this thing in back inside the foul line now, but it's very obvious that UNLV is going down low to Johnson. Gets his running mate Scurry into the ball game with him now, another guy that loves to go to the offensive boards.
As Johnson nails the first of his free throw attempts. As Billy mentioned, Moses Scurry into the ball game, replacing David Butler, who still has yet to get in good shape. Only his third game back after sitting out the first 6 games due to academic difficulties. UNLV on top by 3, 19-16, 12:42 remaining in the first half.
Hard-nosed man-to-man defense, which is a trademark from UNLV, although they will go to some crazy zones every once in a while, as they did against Long Beach State, but they really are a great man-to-man team.
Very good pass inside to Marks, tapped in by Todd Day, who at 6'7½" is the off guard, but has a good 5-inch height advantage over Travis Bice.
Bice sat out yesterday's practice, suffering from the flu a little bit, but he's a great shooter, as we saw in the Iowa game.
Good pass by Larry Johnson, off the mark by Scurry, rebounded by Larry Marks.
Notice very little double teaming by UNLV. There's a walk.
Clearly.
They're afraid of the great outside shooting, particularly by Day and Mayberry, that they're not double teaming as much today as they normally do.
And there's a timeout in the action. UNLV on top by 1.
To perfect the new Lexus.
And say, I want you to just handle the ball and shoot. He's a very unselfish player. You see today, he's very offensive-minded, which is what Tarkanian tried to get him to do yesterday. Tark wants the basket.
Larry Johnson is going to pick up the personal foul.
See, we saw him post up low earlier. Now he takes the ball from the top of the key where he's capable of shooting that far out as well. Good move by Arkansas to draw the charge.
As Johnson picks up his second personal foul, he's got 6 points and 7 rebounds. This in the early going, 11:35 remaining in the first half. As Todd Day using that height advantage at 6'7½", he's got 6 points.
Goes right over Bice.
Good pass by Anthony. Scurry misses.
Day doing a good job aggressively going in for defense as well. And he's gained about 1.5 inches this year in height. Last year he was just primarily a shooter. This year he's playing both ends of the floor well.
Lindsey Howell showing good quickness from the wing, but misses the shot.
Curry took the chance to pick that off. Not a smart move. He really had the numbers going against him, and he should have gone back on defense to give a little balance.
4 points for Greg Anthony. A 1-point Rebel lead. Todd Day.
So nice.
Only a sophomore. Now Mayberry gets more ink, but Day, when he's on, he's absolutely awesome.
Had a great Olympic Festival summer. He's rapidly becoming one of the best ball players, not only in the Southwestern Conference, but in the country.
Johnson. Moses Scurry will be whistled for the foul coming over the back.
That's Lindsey Howell doing a great job blocking out. We're going to see Day here moving both with the dribble as well as that great standstill jumper he's got. Leans in there well, and as I said, he's now pushing 6'8", and to handle the ball from that distance makes him tough to guard.
Platoon substitution on the part of the Rebels. David Butler, Stacey Augman, and James Jones into the contest.
And Jones, of course, filled in for David Butler at that center position, which was quite a drop-off for UNLV, but now it gives Johnson an opportunity to go out, makes Tark's bench a little bit deeper, which he'll need.
Take a look at Larry Johnson along with Travis Bice and Barry Young back on the bench for the Rebels. This is Lindsey Howell at the free throw line. And Billy, he's actually a center or power forward in the body of a small forward or big guard.
Knows how to go to the ball, goes to the boards extremely well, plays solid defense. Was not one of those giant recruits you read about, but certainly has filled the role at Arkansas. Played Jason Ball with both David Butler and Moses Scurry, so he's got 2 former teammates out there on the floor against him right now.
Stands 6'5", weighs 205. Lindsey Howell with 6 points and 4 rebounds in the afternoon. And Arkansas with a 3-point lead.
And they go back to man-to-man. Really trying to help out inside. Hury didn't even have anybody. Good hands.
Todd Day tried to get a little fancy with the shot. Greg Anthony came up and knocked the ball loose, but picked up the foul in the process, his first personal.
You know, I think on that particular play, Day did the only thing that he could. He felt Anthony right to his left on the way on down the floor and had to kind of control that ball and use his body to keep it away. See, he realizes that he's got Greg coming from the other side, put the ball out so it'd be impossible for Greg to reach it, just couldn't get it back in time.
Stacy Cianovich replaces Greg Anthony for the Rebels as Todd Day misses the first free throw.
Good shooter like that normally gets that roll coming back for him.
There's Cianovich, only remaining player from the 87 squad that went to the Final Four for UNLV, as Todd Day gives Arkansas a 4-point lead with 10:07 remaining, the biggest lead of the game.
But they're really dropping everybody off inside, not guarding people on the perimeter, except the man with the ball. There's a wide. There's Cianovich. They didn't even guard him out there.
3-point shot by Cianovich.
James, you can gamble all you want, but if a guy can throw in an uncontested three, you got to get out of that defense.
And Day warms up. Leading scorer for the Razorbacks. He's got 12, averaging 19.5 on the season.
Bauer is now out on Cianovich.
Stacey Augmon, an improved shooter. Most teams have been laying off and giving him the outside shot, but he's worked a lot on it in the offseason. He's got 4.
He has only made 2 3-pointers 2 years ago. Really improved last year in that area. Won the award, the Ivor Award, as the #1 defensive player in the country last year.
And a blocking foul is going to be whistled on Stacy Cianovich. Billy, you mentioned Arlen Bowers. He's a 5'10" junior guard for Arkansas. In for the Razorbacks is Bowers, Day, Lindsey Howell, Ron Huery, and Larry Marks.
You know, with Day's ability to make you play him so tight because he's a good shooter, and at his height, you've really got to get out there on him. He's the kind of guy that you can see as his career develops go to the foul line a lot, because he's starting to put the ball on the floor, and he really gets you in a mismatch playing at the guard position.
A very young squad for Arkansas. As Day hits the first, Darrell Hawkins, a sophomore forward, comes in and gives Lindsey Howell a much-deserved rest.
Only shooting 62% of the year from the foul line, when you know he's going to, the way he shoots the ball is going to do a lot better than that. But he just needs to go to the line more often. Here's the press.
14 points for Todd Day, leading all scorers. Big concern that Jerry Tarkanian had was, in fact, in the backcourt, where Arkansas enjoys a decided advantage.
And they're back in that zone, packing things in except on everybody other than Anderson Hunt. You got to be aware of his 3-point range. Penetration.
Augmon. Rebounded by Day. Bowers.
Kept it alive. Good job by Marks.
And you get an indication of the quickness of the Razorbacks as Marks misses the mark, but fires and scores.
Great nose for the ball.
Fouled by James Jones. And again, that quickness on Arkansas goes to the bench, Billy.
Marks made 3 outstanding plays before finally coming up with the 2. He kept the ball alive by batting it out earlier, then got his own rebound, taking it back inside. Good play. Tark doesn't waste time getting Larry Johnson back in there.
Quickly. As James Jones goes back to the bench. James Jones had been the starting center for the first 6 games while David Butler was getting his books in order, but he's back on the bench now.
Well, most people, including myself, that projected UNLV to be the #1 team starting the season, we're talking about the team with Butler at the center position and not Jones. So quite a fall off there for Tark when he started the year.
Butler's been averaging 16 points since he's been back into the starting lineup, but he throws this one away. Turnover number 6 for UNLV, as Oliver Howell is going to come back into the game, replacing Larry Marks. Now, keep in mind, Oliver Howell is saddled with 2 personal fouls. Make that Oliver Miller.
And Miller's coming back. I'm kind of surprised with the lead that Nolan Richardson's taking a chance, bringing him in, potentially picking up his third foul here.
Fury.
Miller, a great passer for a big fella.
Arkansas with a 34-26 lead with 7:46 remaining in the first half.
You can see where that zone's going, deeper and deeper. Going to make Anderson Hunt take the jumper.
Augman. Billy, now while Augman has worked on that outside shot, the one thing I notice is he's coming down before he's releasing that ball. And that certainly could be a problem with tall players on the inside who can get to that shot easy. Right now, the Razorbacks.
And that's how he looks. You'd think that he's never won a ball game.
But he looks like that at times when they're ahead, Billy. 7:25 remaining. Arkansas on top.
Good backdoor cut by Mayberry.
And follows. And also give a credit to the big fella.
Well, it's
Oliver
nice.
Miller with the passing.
Right, it's nice to have a guy 6'10" can step outside like that and make a good play.
David Butler, good sense of where he was on the court with the overhead layup. He's got 7.
You know, if I were UNLV, I'd try to get Miller to pick up his third foul. Go down inside, make him really work on defense, even if it's in the zone.
A 14-7 run by the Razorbacks, who started off cold, shooting only 30% in the opening minutes.
Picking up all the loose balls.
Mayberry. Miller on the follow, but Butler gets the rebound. Augman. And Larry Johnson is going to be whistled for the push-off, and indeed he did, Billy, with that right arm of his. That's his third personal foul, so he'll take a trip back to the bench.
Now here you go, coming down on a fast break. Stacey Augman took that ball a little bit too far, and Bowers just kept backing up on him. If Stacey had stopped at the top of the foul line, he would have had Larry Johnson down inside for an easy power move. So one dribble too many cost him.
That would have been the better move.
It cost him big, because not only did they not get the basket, but as you see right there, Larry Johnson picked up his third and probably going to have to sit down here with 6:32 to go in the half.
As James Jones replaces Larry Johnson, he leaves with 6 points and 8 rebounds, so a lot of rebounding power leaving for the Rebels. And speaking of rebounding, Nolan Richardson was most concerned about his squad's ability to keep the Rebels off the offensive glass, and right now the Razorbacks are doing the job with 6 offensive rebounds and 10 second chance points,
which is really unusual for them in a number of respects. One, UNLV has got superior size inside, particularly the lineup that was on the floor. And number 2, even on the year, and although Arkansas is having a great year, they're being out-rebounded by their opponents 1 per game.
Todd Day comes back into the contest, replacing Darrell Hawkins. Full-court press by the Razorbacks, something that the Razorbacks had not displayed through the first 9 games with any degree of frequency. Jones, rebounded by Butler, stolen by Mayberry.
Good outlet pass.
And Hay gets hammered, but no foul twice. Butler to Hunt.
Nice job by David Butler to pick up that dribble, get it to a ball handler. Day really got clobbered on the other end of the floor.
An 8-point Razorback lead, and the crowd comes alive here in the Shark Tank.
Lindsey Howell straight up. Boy, he's got nice body control.
8 points for Howell. Hunt. 3-pointer.
Anderson Hunt was only 5 for 20 in the last 3 games and really suffered after that injury he had to his right hand in the Oklahoma game. He's starting to come back now, and you can see he's got a great touch from the outside.
Cianovich rebounds. This is Hunt.
Oh, he takes it. Give Cianovich a lot of credit on that break with a great outlet pass. Really fired the bullet. I think Arkansas, foul. They got to be thinking timeout here to slow down this run. Going to put Mario Fury back into the game, but Vegas getting a nice run here. Trying to take the crowd out of this one.
Third personal foul on Oliver Miller. Moses Scurry back into the lineup for the Rebs. Setting the lineup, Stacey Ogden, Moses Scurry, Anderson Hunt, Greg Anthony, and James Jones.
There's that 1-1-3 defense again. Played a little different than they used to with Keith Wilson, who was so good covering the corners.
Hunt off the mark, but Anthony follows and scores.
Foul on Mario Credit. So Miller and Credit now both with 3. Arkansas in some trouble, and there's going to be the timeout. You see the good drive inside by Greg Anthony. Uses that body to shield the defender, puts it up with the left hand.
Timeout, Arkansas.
Dwight Anderson goes behind the basket, out of bounds, throws up an illegal shot, and it counts. Wasn't good enough to make the shot of the decade, though. All that and much, much more on the road to the Final Four. Back to you guys.
All right, Pat.
2 anyway.
An illegal shot that counted. Since Larry Johnson went to the bench, UNLV has outscored Arkansas 9-4. Lindsey Howell attempting to drive to the basket is blocked by Anderson Hunt.
And one of the things Vegas really prides itself on is what they call the closeout, and that is when a man gets the ball out on the wings and you're a defender, you run out at him and try to close him out. That time Anderson Hunt just got caught with a ball fake and didn't get there quite in time. It's fun to watch UNLV practice because they work on so many fundamental defensive drills, probably more so than any team that we see over the course of the year.
Lindsey Howell misses, still has 8 points and 4 rebounds. That's his first miss from the free throw line, 4 of 5 on the afternoon.
I think now, with the team that UNLV has on the floor, Arkansas would be smart to not worry about the inside scoring quite so much, because this is a perimeter team now.
James Jones, the backup center, over to Moses Scurry, and he misses the shot.
Scurry scores mostly on shots he misses that he puts back up.
A lot of garbage points.
Yep.
Mayberry, in and out. Pushing foul on James Jones. Now, David Butler was saying when Jones started, he wasn't as effective as he could have been because he wasn't accustomed to playing before large crowds, and that pressure was more effective coming off the bench. And right now, we've got Butler coming off the bench to replace James Jones.
Well, I think Tark saw the same thing that we just talked about, and that is that he has no threats inside to score, so he brings Butler back in there to get some inside scoring, because primarily with Young, Anderson Hunt, and Anthony out there, that was a perimeter type team, and Arkansas is going to take advantage of not having to work so hard on the inside.
And it's actually Moses Scurry that takes a seat on the bench at the 3:46 mark of the first half. Marks can't find the range. Greg Anthony free, route to the basket. And at 6'2", he looked like he was about 6'8" on that slam dunk attempt.
Well, if you have the ability to elevate yourself up that high as a small fella, you go in there and take no chance whatsoever the big guys being able to pick something off.
Moses Scurry, quick stint on the bench. Back into the action.
Marks is going to sit down for not being in position that time to prevent that kind of penetration.
And Darrell Hawkins replaces him.
And he's getting a little bit of heat over there from Nolan Richardson.
Greg Anthony averaging just under 10 points a game, and hard to believe that Tarkanian did not initially recruit him out of high school.
Well, he went to Portland. He's an outstanding freshman for Portland. Came back to his hometown and has done extremely well here, not only as a player, but as a citizen.
7 points for Greg Anthony. You talk about a citizen. He's got aspirations of being a senator in the state of Nevada.
Young Republican. Worked in Washington over the summer.
Here come the Rebels.
Arkansas has gone cold. They've been a little bit too impatient.
3-point shot by Hunt is off. And Moses Scurry is going to be whistled for a touch foul, his second personal foul.
Well, it might have been a pretty good foul by Moses for the simple reason that Howell was on his way down, and Arkansas really had the numbers on that delayed break. What's happening to Arkansas, in my opinion, right now, they're putting the ball up a little bit too quickly. Now, they're averaging over 105 a game, so obviously they like to run and go. But right now, with Fury in the ball game, Mayberry, Howe, and Day, they've got a very good shooting ball club on the floor. They just need to get a little better shot. Not a real good rebounding team, but a very good shooting team. Sitting over there with Credit and Oliver Miller on the bench with 3 fouls, so they need to take a little more time off the clock.
9 point for Lindsey Howell. As a matter of fact, Nolan Richardson mentioned that his squad typically only passes the ball 2 to 3 times before shooting, but today he wanted possession to be the name of the game, to pass the ball around a bit more and make UNLV work on defense.
Southwest Conference MVP last year in their tournament was really torrid down the stretch, right on in through the NCAA tournament.
A 4-point Arkansas lead. Scurry. Rebounded by Hury.
Shows good ball handling skills.
Arkansas has not found the range in his last 8 field goal attempts, hitting only 2. A loner pass from Todd Day.
Day thought he had the mismatch because he was lined up with Scurry. He just tried to get a little bit too cute. Now you can see what's happening. They're moving and spreading things out to get this game nice and wide, to take advantage of the ball handling skills that they have. Nobody in the post.
And Barry Young, running through Todd Day, picks up his second personal foul. And that's what Richardson wanted, right, Billy, in terms of more patience on the offensive end.
A great move by Nolan Richardson. Spread things out. Don't worry about a low post play at all. He wants everybody spread out because he sees he has a big advantage with ball handlers on the floor right now and perimeter scores. Be tough for UNLV to defend this team.
You mentioned how Todd Day grew 1.5 inches from last season. As a matter of fact, in conversations with the doctors, Nolan Richardson feels that Todd Day will probably grow to about 6'9", maybe even 6'10".
Another one of those outstanding players out of the city of Memphis. I was talking to Coach Richardson about that yesterday. There must be 20 to 25 kids from that town playing Division I ball right now and playing it extremely well.
16 first half points for Todd Day. Butler hammered by Lindsey Howell. His second personal foul. Butler and Howell played together at San Jacinto Junior College.
Butler and Hury now getting into a little bit of verbal discussion. Gordon Hury came over from the weak side to bat that one away. No goaltend whatsoever. A good block.
Travis Bice in replacing Barry Young. And Stacey Augman into the contest replacing Anderson Hunt. Travis Bice actually watched practice yesterday from the stands, suffering with the flu virus, as Lindsey Howell takes a seat and Arlen Bowers comes in to replace him. And the wholesale substitutions continues as James Jones comes in to replace Moses Scurry. Now, with the pace of the game, who do you think the advantage would favor in terms of bench strength and the pace?
Well, I think the pace of the game right now, with Arkansas in the lead, they can afford to use that clock a little bit, James, and also with their great ball handling they have on the floor, it should be a little bit to their advantage. Now, Butler, however, at 6'10", can come out and play a guy outside probably as well as any man his size around.
9 points for David Butler.
There should be some mismatches here. Let's see who Stacey Augman picks up. He's taken Todd Day, so that's an excellent matchup there for Vegas.
Mayberry, excellent one-on-one player.
He sure is. If you don't double team him, just so good with the ball.
He's got 9.
Bowers moving those feet pretty well, too.
Pushing foul called on Todd Day.
Stacey
and Augman going at it. So tempers are starting to get a little warm here.
Well, I think Arkansas is getting the better of this deal in this respect, James. They're taking the ball to Vegas a great deal. And I think Vegas is kind of surprised that Arkansas is playing this tough. They knew they were a good ball club, but Arkansas is showing them more than they really anticipated. I think they're a little frustrated.
Respect is going to have to come. Arkansas was hoping that this would be their coming out game before America. A lot of the basketball purists certainly know about Arkansas. So we take a look at Ernie Murray coming in to replace Todd Day, who's got 2 personal fouls. Nolan Richardson not wanting to see Dave pick up his third.
Stacy never has been a real good free throw shooter.
As Mayberry walks it up the court.
Now Tark is picking up his defense straight man-to-man, picking it up much higher because he realized Nolan Richardson was going to try to spread it out. It really hurts Nolan now not to have Day in the game.
Fury.
Nice play.
You notice when each of the Arkansas players get the ball, they face up to the opponent in a triple threat position, but that time Mayberry turned the ball over. 5 turnovers for Arkansas.
And Mayberry just so anxious to try to take David Butler, but as I said, David can move those feet pretty well for a big man. Felt he had the mismatch, cost him the walk.
1:30 remaining in the first half. Razorbacks on top by 6. Jones. Rebounded by Augman and the follow. 6 points for Stacy.
Well, there's only 2 players in college basketball played on our Olympic team. Stacy, one of them, Bimbo Cole's the other, and he showed you why he was Olympian right there.
Hawkins, the man whom they say was the most improved in preseason practice for Arkansas. He's got 4.
That's a huge basket for Arkansas because they needed somebody other than Mayberry to come up with one.
Under a minute to play in the first half. Butler.
No size out there. They went right over the top with Miller and Credit out. Arkansas extremely small right now.
11 points for the man from Washington, D.C., David Butler.
They're going to have to put it up, but there's 4-second differential here. I think Arkansas would be smart, take it right down to the wire.
3 seconds difference between the game clock and the shot clock.
They've got the lead. Might as well hang right onto that ball.
Shot clock to the left. Game clock on the right.
Take it right down to 8 seconds. Get the ball in Fury's hands. Mayberry wouldn't be bad either.
Good move by Mayberry. Rebels, one last shot attempt by Anthony. And that's the end of the first half. So Arkansas earning its respect, leading by 4. That's the end of the first half with the score: Arkansas 48, UNLV 44.
Well, you know, when you think about it, and with apologies to all those who have thought about it publicly, it doesn't take much to pick the news story of the decade, the athlete of the decade, the sports moment of the decade. Everybody from Andy Rooney to Casey Kasem has done that for you. But did they dare to go out on the limb and pick the shot of the decade, the shot that's so spectacular, it is the shot of the last 10 years? No, we did it. And here it is. It was January 21st, 1980, Virginia Tech and the Seminoles of Florida State. Seconds before the game is over, and this man is about to witness the shot of the decade. Virginia Tech's Les Henson is the only guy that goes for the rebound, and with a tick on the clock, he's a left-hander, but he throws it right-handed. And now you know the rest of the story. 92 feet, and yes! Number 11 gets angry. It wins the game. People falling on the ground one more time. The guy is left-handed now, Les Henson. Now a salesman of Roanoke, another day in the sun for him, as he is the winner of the shot of the decade. James Brown and Billy Packer are next. I'm Pat O'Brien. Thank you for joining us on the road to the Final Four. Enjoy the second half here on CBS after a commercial. A word from your local station.
Right, he's the best turnover ratio player in the country last year. Right back up there this year. 5.6 assists per turnover, which is an incredible stat for a guy that plays a lot of minutes and handles the ball in all the critical situations.
And he's got 2 already, those coming, of course, in the first half. Underway, Todd Day here. Over to Howell. And Howell has yet to find the mark from the corner position. Anthony.
Nobody picked up Greg. That's the second time today he's been able to take the ball the length of the floor.
9 points for Greg Anthony. And I'm sure Nolan Richardson talked to his squad about that. Anthony comes out and does the same thing.
Good hard-nosed man-to-man right now by UNLV.
Turnover. as Todd Day looks to have twisted his ankle on the floor while Augman slams on the other end.
Now he's really down, and the referees are not stopping anything. Day has been down that entire sequence.
That, of course, would be a major blow to Arkansas to lose Todd Day. Mario Credit and Oliver Miller already for Nolan Richardson have 3 personal fouls, and he's got to watch those guys.
Well, you can't tell what it is. If Todd gets fouled there, he gets his legs tangled up, gets fouled, tries to throw the ball just over the top of his head. You see there's where he got his legs tied up. See if we can see if he
steps on the foot.
Yep, he steps on the foot, which in the case of ankle injuries
or knee.
Or knee, right. We see that so often in basketball. And he's still down on the floor, getting up now, but very gingerly. Went down hard, got kicked by Anthony as well.
Good to see him putting pressure on that right leg. And it looked, in fact, he did twist that ankle, but it was the knee that seemingly took the brunt of that pressure.
The way he's walking, no, I think he's going to be back in this ball game. Nolan Richardson looking at the ref saying, a guy got murdered on the inside, no call.
And you can see what kind of first half impact. Todd Day had 16 points.
And it really causes double trouble now for Nolan because he brings Credit back in the game, and he was trying to protect Credit, who's got 3 fouls on him. So he loses Day, and plus has to put a man in the game earlier than he anticipated.
Arkansas gets the ball back after David Butler deflected it. Good defense by Stacey Augman, his specialty. And David Butler is going to be whistled for the foul, tripping up Lee Mayberry. Stacey Augman, of course, was the defensive player of the year in the country last season, and gave you some indication why with that move there.
It's like they're looking at Day's knee a little bit. It's not an ankle problem.
First personal foul on David Butler.
Dish.
Credit.
Good dish.
And Oliver Miller really is a good passer from out high.
Excellent passer. That time Larry Johnson got caught right on Credit's hip. Poor defensive positioning. And he's got now Miller on his hip, but they don't get him the ball.
Anthony over to Hunt.
The 3. Boy, great concentration that time by Anderson Hunt. Even though he had Lindsey Howell running right at his face, he still kept his eye on that target.
UNLV goes back up by 1 on that 14th point by Hunt. Pat O'Brien, of course, is on top of the action. Let's get a report from Pat O'Brien on Todd Day.
All right, JB, thank you. Todd Day bruised his right knee. It's very painful right now. They hope to get him back in the game soon. Not soon enough. Back to you.
All right, Pat. A 51-50 lead by the running Rebels. Just underway here in the second half. 18:08.
Great play by Larry Johnson. Really stepped out on Miller.
Timeout, Arkansas.
Arkansas battles Tennessee, the Mobile Cotton Bowl Classic, New Year's Day.
There is a new dimension for those who love to drive. It is long and sleek, smooth yet precise, designed for comfort, built for the road, shaped by the wind, proven on the track. Introducing Lumina, the adult sport coupe. When it comes to new dimensions in performance, nobody's winning like
The heartbeat of America, that's today's Chevrolet.
Batteries. There are live ones.
And there's dead ones.
Want to know any more? Ask Ace.
That's what I do.
Duracell batteries, C or D 4-packs are just 99 cents after rebate, and this bathroom scale is only $6.97.
Hey, Ace is the place for me.
Me too.
I'd rather switch than itch, so I switched to Tegrin.
Tegrin medicated shampoo controls all the major causes of itching and flaking, so Tegrin is more than strong enough for tough dandruff like yours.
Wouldn't you rather switch than itch?
I'm a high school teacher and a football coach, and from that stress I get headaches. I started developing stomach problems and went to the doctor. I found out that I had an ulcer. At that time I was taking aspirin, not Tylenol. The doctor said that I could aggravate the ulcer by continuing to take the aspirin. So I asked him what I should do, and he suggested that I take Tylenol.
Mark Cunningham trusts Tylenol. Its pain reliever is in a class by itself.
Since I've taken the Tylenol, I've had no problems whatsoever.
You're going to see Lee Mayberry picks up his dribble. A big mistake because the overplays by Vegas in every area. And now watch Larry Johnson pick this one off. Excellent play by Vegas on defense. Here comes Johnson right up through the middle. He takes it down for the slam dunk. You cannot afford to pick up your dribble in that part of the floor if you're Lee Mayberry, because there's no passing outlet left and you no longer can penetrate.
Third turnover for Lee Mayberry. Fury.
Rott picks up that dribble beautifully when he goes in there.
6 points for Ron Hury, who's averaging just under 10 a game. Had been a starter 2 years ago. Nolan Richardson looking for some explosiveness from Hury off the bench.
Good hands by Lindsey Howell. Hury could be the man of the hour right now. They need a big score with Day out. He's got Stacey Augmon on him, so he's really got to be careful. Makes Stacey twice, gets it blocked.
Stacey has the advantage of those long arms.
Be a good idea to set a solid screen on Stacey Augmon to free Ron Hury up a little bit.
Anthony left open for the three. Rebounded by Lindsey Howell. Howell with 6 rebounds.
At his size, he's just a great guy to watch rebound-wise.
As Credit goes in for the shot, he's fouled from behind by David Butler. Near the conclusion of today's game, we will select a Chevrolet player of the game from each team. Chevrolet donates a $1,000 scholarship to the General Scholarship Fund of each school. And the foul was actually whistled against Larry Johnson, his 4th personal foul.
And he's got to come out. Jerry Tarkanian very upset there because everybody had their head turned coming back on defense, allowed Credit to be wide open on the inside.
So Moses Scurry comes in to replace Larry Johnson. Now in the first half, when Larry Johnson went out, UNLV did not do badly at all. As a matter of fact, outscoring UNLV.
An opportunity now for the first time in the game, however, for Arkansas to have some advantage down in low.
1 point Arkansas leads. 6 points for Mario Credit. Credit averaging 15 points a game. And the Razorbacks certainly need some scoring for him as the ball goes back to the running Rebels.
Come on, Momo. Mario Credit on Butler down on inside. Wouldn't be a bad idea to try to go ahead and get that ball inside to David Butler. Get Credit out of there. Butler's sealing him pretty well. They're not getting the ball. They're not looking inside at all today to get the ball down the low post.
And Butler's there.
Yeah, he sure is.
And that foul came, well, they wanted to get the ball to Butler to get the foul on Credit, but Anthony penetrates and picks up the reach-in foul. 4 personal fouls on Credit.
See, Butler's doing an excellent job on the inside. He sealed his man extremely well. Nobody's firing it down in there to him at all. Looks like Day going to try to come back in, James.
We'll see how well he can move with that tender right knee as he replaces Mario Credit, who goes out with 4 personal fouls.
Yeah, not by design at all, just a reach-in foul.
Anthony with 10 points. You mentioned that Anthony worked on Capitol Hill last summer, working for Nevada Representative Barbara Vukonovich. And he really thinks he's got a future in politics. 7th lead change of the game. Rebels on top by 1.
See how well Day can move.
Fury, 3-point attempt is good.
He's coming to the front.
That's exactly what Richardson wants from him. Hunt.
Now there's where Day's legs didn't allow him to be quick enough to get back there on that one.
But his long arms enable him to block that shot attempt.
Anderson Hunt does a nice job going down, getting in the area right out beyond the 3-point line. And they really look for him well out there to take that jumper. Remember the great shot that he made to beat Arizona last year's NCAA tournament.
Augmon. And Billy, Stacey Augmon continues to come down as he's shooting that jumper. Most coaches teach shooting that jumper at the peak of your jump, and that's why he's missing it. Personal foul on Lee Mayberry, his first personal foul. Lee Mayberry, with that foul, only has 9 fouls in 9 games. So not only does he not turn the ball over very much, doesn't commit very many fouls.
And you got to figure he's normally playing the man who's handling the ball the majority of the time for his opponent. So that's a great stat. You can win with those kind of stats.
Greg Anthony. And Greg Anthony looked to have charged into Oliver Miller, but Miller is whistled for the blocking foul.
One of the big points of emphasis in college basketball this year, that principle of verticality. And in my estimation, Miller had and owned that ground and that real estate there, but the call is going against him.
As you take a look at Nolan Richardson, he's got his hands in the air trying to plead his case to the official, saying, hey, my guy had his hands straight up.
I think he's right. But what he finds now is his 2 big men pick up 4 fouls each. You've got Johnson on the bench for UNLV with 4, and both Credit and Miller picking up 4. I guess Nolan's going to stick with Miller for a while.
Anthony, normally a 71% free throw shooter, misses the first.
I think at this time of the game, it'd be smart maybe to come back with Marks. Take Miller out, because he's got the lead.
Anthony 3 of 6 from the free throw line. It's a 1-point Arkansas lead with 15:30 remaining in the game. Out. Rebound taken away by Day, and he misses. Scurry comes back with the familiar scowl.
He's a battler. But Day showed again that 6'7" height. He's able to get his hands on a lot of balls.
Anthony. 14 points for Greg Anthony, 5 over his season average. Mayberry.
Tough shot.
Specializes in it.
When he puts that ball behind his back, he usually goes to take his own shot.
11 for Mayberry.
Really elevates off the floor in a hurry.
Scurry can't find the roll, but gets the rebound.
And another one.
As Butler plays volleyball inside, blocked from behind by Oliver Miller.
Led the Southwest Conference in blocks last year. That was a great one because he's got 4 fouls on him.
Had 60 on the year last season, as a foul is whistled out of the wing spot against UNLV.
You see this coming right up. Moses Scurry, who makes a habit of missing those on the inside, but usually comes back in and scores on the next one. Here it goes up, and you're going to see Miller coming up now with what was a great block on Butler.
Anthony on the inbound still. This is Hunt.
Two great backcourts out here today. Hunt and Anderson, and Day and Mayberry.
16 for Anderson. Hunt, who was whistled for that last personal foul, his 3rd.
Greg Anthony behind the back. Putting it on.
Blocking foul on Lindsey Howell. That'll be his 3rd personal foul. So Nolan Richardson seeing his front line getting all kinds of foul trouble.
Very difficult pass because you've got weak side help, and there is Greg Anthony putting it behind his back, going right around Mayberry, and Greg looking to take it to the basket. What do you say, 4 or 5 times today he's taken the ball almost the length of the court right onto the hoop?
No doubt.
Now Credit coming back in the ball game, and what we have here now is Nolan Richardson going to try to use those fouls. Take Credit as long as he can go till he picks up his 5th, and then rest Miller and then come back the other way.
Arlen Bowers comes in for the Razorbacks. Lineup for Arkansas: Bowers, Todd Day, Ron Hury, Mario Credit, and Lee Mayberry. This is Greg Anthony at the free throw line. 15. Greg Anthony is really an off guard mentally, trying to make the adjustments to the point guard spot.
Well, you know, on this club, because he and Anderson Hunt are almost interchangeable offensively, they don't really need a true point.
A 3-point Rebels lead. And Mayberry lucky as Credit comes up with the rebound.
Butler and Scurry colliding in there. Credit using that left hand nicely. again, you see when Mayberry puts the ball behind his back, he normally goes for the shot.
Personal foul on Lee Mayberry, his second personal foul. And the backcourt of the running Rebels really doing a job.
Yeah, that's primarily Greg Anthony on the drives and Anderson Hunt with the jumper. This game is getting rough now. Tartt with 13-13 to go comes back with Larry Johnson, and he's gonna play games the same way that Nolan Richardson is, with Johnson and Butler alternating. See how long Larry Johnson can stay in this game. Really been burdened with foul trouble.
Anthony and Hunt, the backcourt for the running Rebels. Stacey Augmon, Moses Scurry, and Larry Johnson, the 5 on the floor for the running Rebels.
This is what UNLV did not have before Butler and Scurry came back, and that's any bench, any opportunity for Jerry Tarkanian to make some moves when they got in trouble.
And a couple of teams caught them that way.
Exactly. Losses to Kansas, Oklahoma as well. Not to say they would have won those games, but it sure helps to have that bench.
Arlen Bowers with the lean-in shot, a 2-pointer, and a tie ball game at 63 all. Anderson Hunt, 3-point shot.
That's why you can't double up on Anthony. Hunt knows how to go find that 3-point range.
19 points on the afternoon, 5 over his average. Bowers today for 3.
Same deal.
Great teams.
Oh, they are. You know, there'll be a loser in this game, but not in terms of what we think of them as teams and their ability to, before this year's out, to be champions.
Good defense by Dave. Rebound, Arkansas, up to Hury. Arkansas retakes the lead, 68-66, 11 for Hury.
You know, Hury's a guy, he can have a 30-point ball game coming off that bench.
Had a lot of off-the-court problems last year, got himself straight and playing well as Larry Johnson powers his way on the inside off the glass for 10 points.
Beautiful feed by Hunt. Sitting right down, getting that bounce pass inside.
Arkansas really has done the job on Larry Johnson, who has only 10. He averages 22 a game as Day misses, and it's rebounded and taken away by Moses Scurry.
Scurry went right over Hury.
No foul called as Johnson goes up and is fouled by Todd Day. Third personal on Day.
Hey, Stacey Augmon showed he's got some courage. He went in on that shot that did not go and really hit the floor hard. Watch this. This is a drive. Look at him concentrate and goes right on down. No foul, and there's Johnson using all of that bulk to go up. And there was a case where it was not an offensive foul because Day had his hands right over the top of Johnson's back.
Take a look at Augmon showing the effects of working hard out there on the floor. Larry Johnson, 11 points, 9 rebounds, averaging 22 points and 11 rebounds.
Johnson's picked as the #1 basketball man in the USA by ABA USA last year.
Rams and the Eagles in an NFC wildcard playoff game.
Well, here's the John Chaney imitation by Nolan Richardson. He's tried to use the old stare down to the officials as we broke for that last timeout, but he couldn't get their attention.
That stare in the NCAA tournament last year by Chaney lasted about how long?
Well, I don't know. He did one down at the University of North Carolina. It was very effective, but didn't work too well in the tournament. Tough man-to-man coming up here by UNLV. Try to go over Johnson. It's not there.
10 turnovers by the Razorbacks. And Stacy Sianovich commits turnover number 11 for UNLV.
There he goes. That's the son of a coach. Jerry's son obviously played well for him, and Stacy's dad's a coach, coached him in high school. Didn't want to see that kind of pass.
At Santa Clara High School, Stacy Sianovich. Todd Day out high. Mario Credit calling for the ball, but Mayberry takes it to the glass. Rebounded by David Butler. Number 9 for David.
Both teams playing hard-nosed man-to-man now. Bowers really quick on the outside.
Butler calling for the ball. Double team, triple team down low. Still gets the shot away. So David Butler, despite his slender size, really powers strongly on the inside. He's got 13.
Not there.
Day for 3. Well, Todd Day with 22 points draws Arkansas within 1.
James, what a value it is to be able to have those three-point shooters that can go out and sit on that perimeter. You take the ball on the inside, then fire it back outside. Very difficult to defend.
And talking with Todd Day yesterday, I asked him if he was upset with all the publicity that Lee Mayberry was getting. He says, hey, mine will come just doing it on the floor.
Players in the country are just a sophomore.
Cianovich being guarded by Arlen Bowers.
Same move, penetration, look to hit outside to the three-point shooter. There it is.
Hunt for 3.
So what that does, you have to play like an accordion on defense. There's no way you can help out inside if you're going to get burned on that 3.
22 points for Anderson Hunt, who allegedly was having difficulty with the follow-through on his jump shots because of the chip bone in his shooting hand. Bowers misses.
Bowers has some real quickness and leaping ability as well.
Kick ball goes back to UNLV.
See, now the ball goes inside. Everybody turns their head. A great move by Anderson Hunt to offset. Instead of standing exactly where he was, he offset a little bit. That opened up a passing lane so that he could get the three-pointer off.
Lindsey Howell back into the game for the Razorbacks. He's defending Stacey Augman.
Time for Larry Johnson, getting the ball down in low.
And Johnson's got the size mismatch with Ron Fury trying to defend the Butler off the mark.
I don't think UNLV's looking for him enough today. You know, he gets his man pinned down there, and then they're not looking to pass it inside.
Which maybe is one of the reasons why Jerry Tarkanian wanted him to come to the ball more, as Mario Credit does just that and scores his 10th point of the game. A 2-point contest. Rebels on top, 75-73 with 8:51 remaining in the game.
Got to get the ball down inside to Larry Johnson. There it is, but too tough a pass.
Bad pass. Too low.
Yep. He's got great hands.
12 turnovers for UNLV. The big men have got to get that ball waist high or above.
Well, you can see this great run that UNLV's made. Primarily, it's come with Hunt and Anthony, rather. They had 17 to 26 points during the run. Nothing's happening inside.
Greg Anthony has really answered the call today. 16 points from the backcourt. He's averaging 9.6 on the season. Mayberry for 3. Rebounded by Hunt.
Stacey Augman breaking free.
And Augman wisely taking the ball to the hoop as opposed to relying on the jump shot.
He broke free coming out from the defensive end of the court.
And David Butler whistled for the foul that time.
Wanting intentional did Nolan Richardson. He doesn't get the call.
Second personal foul on Dave Butler.
And from a standpoint of team fouls, only the 4th for UNLV, which could become a real factor as this game comes down the wire. They've been playing hard-nosed defense and not picking up any fouls.
Mayberry to the hoop.
You don't see many people beat Anthony that easily.
Anderson Hunt from three-point land again. 5 3-point shots for Anderson Hunt. He's got 25.
This has been the week for him. The University of Kentucky made 21 against North Carolina.
And Lindsey Howell is going to be whistled for the foul coming over the back. That's his 4th. And UNLV in the one-on-one bonus situation.
Not a great free throw shooting team, so this may in effect help Arkansas a little bit.
And before Butler gets a chance to shoot the free throws, we'll take a timeout in the action. CBS Sports coverage of NCAA basketball will continue after this message from your local station. Well, the backcourt of UNLV paying big dividends. All starters in double figures for the Running Rebels, paced by 25 points from Anderson Hunt. David Butler, playing in his third game back after being academically ineligible the first half, shoots an air ball.
As I said, it may be in Arkansas's advantage to put UNLV on that foul line for a while to try to get back in this one.
Although UNLV has been shooting 72% from the free throw line in today's contest, 18 of 26.
Go to Mario Credit here, try to get Johnson out of the ball game. It's worth the try because he's going to be a factor the rest of the way. Credit was able to beat him the last time down the floor.
Would you do that even given the kind of game Anderson Hunt's been having?
Yep, I'd try to go ahead and get Johnson out of this one.
Augman.
Oh, what a drive! Sensational drive to the basket. Now, Stacy doesn't have a big frame, but he is a fierce player on the inside.
Howe blocked by Butler wickedly.
Watch Augman cradle this ball, take it inside and under. UNLV does a lot of practice where they go ahead and bang a man driving one-on-one in practice to get used to that type of play, and it sure paid off on that one.
Oliver Miller back in the game, replacing Ron Hury. 82-75, Rebels' biggest lead of the game. Mayberry.
Somebody's picking up 5 there.
And it looks like it's going to be Larry Johnson.
Well, I didn't see it on that play. He was right there going for the ball.
And if so, he's fouled out, Billy.
It's amazing how fellas are getting foul trouble on a play that is not what's intended. I didn't really think he fouled on that play at all.
So Larry Johnson, the man of whom Jerry Tarkanian remarked is perhaps the best recruit he's ever had, fouls out with 12 points and 9 rebounds. And he'll be replaced by Moses Scurry.
A lot of time left in this one. And now Arkansas gets an advantage because they have Miller and Credit on the floor now. They're back to their big inside game.
Howell having difficulty getting it inbounds. And the officials say that the ball goes off the hands of Oliver Miller, who's got a set of excellent hands.
And one of the things I'm sure the fans are aware with as many games been played on TV so far is there's a change in the out-of-bounds situation. When that ball leaves your hand, it doesn't have to touch somebody in bounds in the 5-second count. That's why the ref didn't blow the whistle till it went out of bounds.
Turnover number 11 for Arkansas, 6 this half.
And they're back into the zone. They really have to be aware of Anderson Hunt playing this defense. Good hands by Miller.
Stolen by Miller.
One of those all-state guys, isn't he?
Big asset for a big man.
Sure is. How? Good defense by Stacy.
And the officials say the ball hit the basket support behind the backboard. So it turns over to UNLV.
Now, what you have is the other official realized that Stacy got a piece of that on the block. So if it hit the stanchion, it would have been off Stacy Augman. Yep.
And that's a good call.
Nice piece of officiating.
The 19,000 here don't like it, but an excellent adjustment.
Stacy got a piece of that on the way up. Great defense on his part.
Arkansas having difficulty finding the basket, having missed their last 6 field goals.
Hey, Howell ought to play a possum a little bit. He's got Augman on him. He'd be setting some screens instead of trying to score so much.
Turnover. Here's Scurry.
Bad play.
Mayberry comes right back to silence the crowd. A 7-point Rebel lead.
Arkansas got by with a pass that really didn't need to be made there. They need to come back gradually.
So Mayberry is right at his season average with 15 points.
They stay in the zone.
Under 6 minutes remaining in the game. UNLV on top, 84-77. The lob attempt is no good. And Howell battling strong.
Credit missed. Day still misses. He moves over there, open on the side.
And Greg Anthony is going to be whistled for the foul, pushing Todd Day. Anthony thinks that Todd Day was acting a bit as he picks up his second personal foul, and Jerry Tarkanian
Greg
very
doesn't
upset.
Greg doesn't need to be arguing quite that much either, for the simple reason that a technical here would really hurt his club.
Jerry Tarkanian wants to talk things over, not liking what he's seen on the floor, although his team enjoys a 7-point lead. With 5:37 remaining in the game, Arkansas trailing the Running Rebels by 7, 84-77. And Nolan Richardson, having to go for broke, has both of his big men in the game. Mario Credit, Oliver Miller, both with 4 personal fouls.
I think Lindsey Howell's handling that ball too much with Stacey Ogden on him. He'd be good to set some screens for Mayberry or maybe even for Day. There's Mayberry getting a shot. You don't want to challenge the nation's #1 defender. And here he comes on this end of the floor. Boy, great play by Stacey Ogden.
Stacey Augmon with his 15th point, wisely making the adjustment, Billy, not going for the jump shot, but taking it to the glass. Mayberry.
That time Anthony was ready. Good steal by Day.
Mayberry again.
It was only a 2, though. Oh, there's a case where Day got right in Anthony's face. No foul called. Tark upset about it. And the ball goes off Anthony's arm.
Excellent hustle by Todd Day. Good recognition. And Arkansas trailing by 5 with 4:53 remaining.
Say, he's a lot tougher ball player physically this year than he was last year.
Day leads the Razorbacks in 9 different categories, including steals.
And also rebounding.
Mayberry,
and
off
there
the
he
mark.
is.
Rebounded by Day, who is the team's leading offensive rebounder. Augmon back to the glass again.
MVP of the Big West, and he's showing it live.
Lindsey Howell quiets the crowd with that shot from the corner, his 12th point of the afternoon. 5-point Running Rebels lead.
Now here's where it's going to be tough to play zone, as UNLV pull that ball back outside for a while, and Anderson Hunt will set up on you. There he is. That's
3 points.
Tough defense to play right now at this time of the game.
28 points for Anderson Hunt.
Mayberry looking like for the first time, James, he's getting a little tired out there. Tremendous crowd reaction here.
Miller blocked by Scurry.
Arkansas is a little tired right now, and so is Stacey Augden. He has really had to expend some energy. You can see the Arkansas players just don't have anything left. They're really down. This has been a grinding game.
Turnover, ball goes back to Arkansas. And Billy, that's interesting that you mentioned that Arkansas is tired when it was UNLV that had the extremely tough 2-hour practice yesterday.
They did. I'm surprised that Nolan is not calling a timeout right now. You see that Jerry Tarkanian, recognizing Stacey just can't go any longer, takes Augmon out. The problem here, though, is guys like Mayberry and Day are so tired, they might not be able to do anything offensively.
Barry Young in to replace Augmon. Well, that's one thing that Nolan Richardson mentioned, whether or not the pressure defense would wear down on his excellent guards. Howell. Credit has it stolen. Anderson Hunt got a hand on it to knock it loose.
And that fatigue factor is making cowards out of everybody right now. Nolan Richardson's got to get the timeout, give his team a rest.
Butler with the rebound and his foul. And if it's on one of the big men for Arkansas, they're out. Mario Credit picks up his 5th personal foul. And Nolan Richardson turns to Ron Hury. And Cannon Whitby comes into the game as well.
But Mayberry stays out there. He's played the whole game, James. To the best of my knowledge, I don't think he's come out at all. He's had the task defensively of playing against a great guard and then offensively handling the ball so much.
David Butler said he learned an awful lot sitting out the first 6 games, concentrating on his academics, and had a number of students on campus come up and offer him all kinds of academic help.
Arkansas with 1 timeout left, and UNLV with 3. That drops it back to 2, so this helps Arkansas a little bit.
It's Thursday evening.
Here's an example of one-man transition basketball. Stacey Augmon makes the block with the left hand, takes off on the other end of the floor, gets the good pass, puts it behind his back, stuffs it with the left hand. Just a great effort by an All-American caliber ball player.
And who's put some offense together to go with his defense. David Butler giving the running Rebs
they have
a 10-point lead at 93-83 with 2:28 remaining.
Got to think three-point shot here, and they do with Dave putting it. That was an NBA 3 right there. He's got unlimited range. Scurry couldn't believe he was out that far.
25 points for him, and that's why Cannon Whitby, a seldom used role player for Arkansas, is in the game as well to help with the three-point shooting.
Trying to press a little bit half court. You can see the respect that Arkansas has had for UNLV's ball handlers. The fact that they have not been full court pressing much today at all. Good block.
Hunt recovers. Mayberry steals.
Fury made 2 great from behind the back steals. Misses a tough shot after all that work.
Under 2 minutes in the contest. Rebs on top.
Augmon showing some ball handling skills.
Anthony.
Well, when you're going to make that big defensive pressure out front, there's nothing left underneath if they break through.
18 for Anthony. As Miller hits it from the corner. He's got only 3 points, and Miller came into the game averaging 10 points. So Arkansas not getting the production out of Miller because of foul trouble and good defense by the Rebs.
At this point, they've got to go all 3-point shots. They're too far down just to go with the 2s.
Arkansas's defense.
Back court, not called.
And the ball is turned back over to UNLV. Scurry. Block, beautiful.
With 2 Sand Jack teammates combining for a fast break, you wouldn't expect that often. Count it.
Todd Day with 3 points. He's got 28. David Butler slam dunked his 17th point. So even without Larry Johnson, the Rebs looking strong, up by 6. On CBS, it'll be Paradise, followed by Tour of Duty. And then on Saturday night with Connie Chung, she takes a look at the many comic characters of Gilda Radner that brought many a Saturday night fan live with laughter. They'll all be coming your way tonight on CBS.
Full court pressure now by Arkansas. Foul, but not intentional. About all they can do right now is to foul and try to come back with 3-point shots.
Third personal foul on Lee Mayberry as Nolan Richardson looks on. Really has to be pleased with the way his squad handled the pressure. He was concerned about how on the road they would handle the intimidation of the opening light show here in Vegas for the running Rebs, as well as playing on the road in front of a national audience and this kind of a crowd, and I think they've handled it well.
They really have. It's an extremely young basketball team, as we pointed out at the top of the show, but a team that is going to be a major factor in this college season. Southwest Conference with a number of clubs playing well. You know, Texas is going to be in the hunt. Houston's going to be there. They've had some trouble early on, but they've got a big front line.
Darrell Hawkins commits the foul. Billy, make no mistake about it, Larry Johnson was expected to be a big force for UNLV today, averaging 22.5 points. Left the game with 5 fouls and only 12. But the backcourt of the Rebs, a major surprise, averaging only 24 points combined on the season. The backcourt has thrown in 46 points in the game thus far.
Well, we talked to Nolan yesterday at length, and he said, I'm going to have to make the backcourt show me they can score. And basically, they did. And I think anytime you've got a kind of team like Jerry Tarkanian has, you've got strength in all areas, and they proved it here today.
Indeed, Anderson Hunt comes out with a career-high 28 points, and Stacey Altman really does a number as well. Mayberry.
He pulled up against Missouri and took that jumper, which surprised me.
Scurry. Good dunk
block
attempt
by
blocked
Miller.
by Miller.
That's about the 5th block Miller has today. He had 16 coming into this game. That big man at 270 pounds has excellent timing.
Well, Miller with only 3 points on the afternoon certainly has tried to perform well in the other aspects of the game.
Well, he got an early foul trouble. You know, really credit Miller and Larry Johnson all have been really hampered today in regard to their performance offensively because of foul trouble.
Oliver Miller's stamina wasn't too bad today. He, of course, was discovered to have had a thyroid problem over the summer. Put on close to 30 extra pounds, getting up close to 300 pounds. He's down to about 265 now. Mayberry, nice circus move. 21 points for Lee Mayberry.
Reminds you a little bit of Mo Cheeks the way he plays, doesn't he?
And that's a big compliment.
Yes, it is. He's just an outstanding young man.
Well, with 3 seconds remaining in the contest, the Rebs will win it. And while they certainly put on an outstanding display, take a look at the shorts display.
Well, you know, Michael Jordan started setting the stage in regard to the new fashion in pants in basketball. And J.R. Reed last year probably was the collegiate champ. But we've got some guys now that are almost wearing Bermuda shorts.
It's good that they are wearing these tights underneath the shorts.
David Butler would have to qualify as a first teamer. Anderson Hunt's got some now that are actually down below his knees. Greg's aren't. I wonder what what the cost of shorts are now. You know, it must have gone up. The old basketball tights are a lot different.
Well, that's why Butler always has a soft landing whenever he comes down with the rebound.
Excellent ball game. 2 fine teams.
And that'll do it as the running Rebs come away with the 101-93 victory over 11th ranked Arkansas. We'll be back in just a moment.